Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Non-Scripted Ramblings. I'm Kendall Richardson and here we are today going to be talking all about the second part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover. I literally just finished watching it and I am just so ecstatic with this whole thing. I just kind of want a whole series, like a whole 22 episodes or a whole 13 episodes just about this crossover. I mean, it's incredible that we're getting 5 this year for the first time instead of 2 or 3 or 4. Now it's 5 because we have 5 shows in the Arrowverse. So we are very spoilt and very lucky, I think. So it's a great time to be a fan of this stuff. Holy crap, what an episode. Picked up obviously straight after the end of part 1 with the death of Oliver Queen. They're all kind of, obviously mourning him, and it's very sad, but how I said last week, I'm like, well, surely, they're not going to kill him off in the first episode and not bring him back. So lo and behold, in this episode, Mia and Barry decide to locate a Lazarus pit somewhere in the multiverse to bring Oliver back to life. And Sarah, of course, is steadfast against this because, she herself has been resurrected by the Lazarus pit and she knows exactly what it can do to a person. He will be restored to life, but not in soul, only in body, so it's a bit tricky. But with the help of John Constantine, who makes a fantastic appearance, Matt Ryan, always such a pleasure to see him, he helps them locate the working Lazarus pit in the multiverse, and then they take Oliver's body there to resurrect him, and then John can restore his soul using his magic. They also encounter Jonah Hex when they go there. It's on, Earth 18 in North Dakota is where this Lazarus pit is located. And Jonah Hex, pre-facial scarring, encounters Mia and Sarah whilst Barry and John have gone to get Oliver's body, and they have a bit of a fight, and it's very fun to watch. But yes, Oliver is resurrected by the end of the episode, but he is not himself, and John Constantine cannot bring Oliver's soul back at this time because with all of the antimatter in the multiverse now, due to the anti-monitor causing the crisis, he can't. His magic his mojo's off, he says, so he cannot restore Oliver Queen's soul at this time. So that's an interesting thing, and I don't know where that's going to go from here. We need to have Oliver Queen in the crossover still somehow, surely. I mean, why would you bring him back kill him off in episode 1 and bring him back in episode 2? Don't know. Where is this going to go from there? There's going to be so much antimatter coursing through the multiverse between now and the end of the crossover, so I'm guessing he won't be resurrected until his episode of Arrow next year in January, so I don't know, we'll find out. It was really cool, and I'm really glad that he's not dead, and I'm glad that I didn't lose my shit crying over it during part 1, but even though it was very sad to watch still, but I was just like, no, it's not the end. So what else is going on in this episode? So the main storyline of this episode, we learn from the Monitor, who has he went back to retrieve the Book of Destiny, which he uploaded into this new Wave Rider from Earth 74. He stored it in the Wave Rider's library, and he went back and grabbed it after Oliver Queen died at the end of part 1, because that's not how he foresaw Oliver Queen's sacrifice during the crisis. So things have changed, so he seeks the Book of Destiny to figure out how to get things back on track. So he learns of the existence of 7 paragons that can save the multiverse, and naturally 2 of them are already in the room at the time he's making his grand speech about it, and that is Sarah Lance is the paragon of destiny, and Kara Danvers, Kara Zor-El Supergirl, is the paragon of hope, which is really nice. I'm glad they didn't give the hope one to Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, because that would have been very, you know, like, yeah, on the nose, sure, whatever, but I'm glad they gave it to Kara, even though she's kind of lost all hope at the moment because her Earth has been destroyed and billions of lives were lost despite the billions they managed to save, so she's not really feeling very hopeful at the moment, and this episode does a really nice job of kind of exploring that as she's partnered up with Kane, because they learned that with the help of Felicity Smoke, not first time she's mentioned the crossover, but like the first time she's kind of been brought up into the story, is that the part of when the Monitor recruited Felicity at the end of Arrow Season 7 was, you know, clearly to help locate these paragons as well. So she was not only able to locate Kara and Sarah as being paragons, she found 2 more, the Paragon of Justice in Earth 99. Is it Justice? Am I getting it right? Yeah, it's Justice, isn't it? Yeah. No, Courage. Thank God I picked that up. Courage. Paragon of Courage is supposed to be in Earth 99, which is in the future, and it's a bat of the future. So they find out that they're going, like, Kara and Kate are going to a future where Batman is, you know, this big epic figure, and they're going to recruit him to save the multiverse. So they do a really cool job, exploring Kate's story and who she is, and maybe a glimpse into her future with this version of Batman that we get to see. And Kara's, you know, kind of holding on to hope that she can, by the end of the episode, she can use the Book of Destiny to bring back Earth 38, because, you know, oh god, there's so much going on. Anyway, so I need to kind of focus. So we'll start with Earth 99 then. Yes, so they go there, they visit, they go to Wayne Manor. A different version of Luke Fox from Earth 1 is there, and he's kind of working for Bruce Wayne, and he's all like, not disheveled, but he's like not in his suit, and he's not, when he's in glasses, he's very chilled, very laid back, and he's got a shirt, and he's open, he's all showing his abs and everything, and that was very nice. But he's kind of got a bit of an attitude about him that was really interesting, although they don't really spend too much time dwelling on Luke and his role in all of this, because of the main huge reveal is that this is where the promised appearance of Kevin Conroy happens. He is playing the future Bruce Wayne / Batman in Earth 99, and he is covered in this exoskeleton that's helping him get around and that's giving him extra strength, and apparently that comes from the Kingdom Come storyline, that exoskeleton I read, so that's kind of cool considering this episode has a couple of Kingdom Come references, which is more on that later. So he is very much, you know, they think he's going to be this, he's their paragon of courage, he's going to restore some hope for Kara, and, you know, and come and join the fight and help save the multiverse. And they slowly discover, as, you know, they spend more time with him, talk with him, they find out that he is not this paragon that was promised at all. This is a very dark version of Bruce Wayne, a very, very dark version. But I kind of like it, and it very much does suit the appearance of Kevin Conroy in this episode. It's so cool to see him in a live action sense playing Bruce Wayne, because this is the first time that's ever happened. He's never done it before. He's only ever voiced the character. And it was brilliant. I just loved the choices they made, and his performance, his portrayal was top notch, of course, like as if it was going to be anything less. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed it. And the fact that it made Kevin Conroy's Bruce Wayne made, you know, everybody kind of question what was going on. Like, you know, Kara and Kate started doubting the Monitor, whether or not he was truthful. Like, you know, everyone else has kind of been doubting the Monitor because of his weird little ways of getting getting from A to B, and having his heroes succeed in these missions is not exactly always altruistic in nature, the paths that they take. And so that was really fascinating. And the fact that, you know, this is an alternate universe, we know, but Kate Kane did exist in this universe, and she passed away, I think he says 5 years ago. Bruce says 5 years ago. So it's like he's seeing a ghost. Even Kate says, I've never been a ghost before, which was kind of cool. But she's discovering that, you know, cause at the end of the episode when she's talking to Kara, she's like, I've only just started this vigilante thing. You know, I'm still figuring things out. And she's just really wondering, after seeing how dark Bruce went and where this path of heroism or vigilantism can take you. You know, if you fight monsters, I should have written it down. There's a really, really good quote that Bruce Wayne says in the episode about, you know, something about fighting monsters, you become a monster in the end. And that's really what happens to Bruce Wayne, and that really makes Kate question, considering their family, they're related, and she's playing the same role, you know, fulfilling that absence now that Batman's left Gotham in her time. You know, she's Batwoman. Will she go down this dark path? Does she have this darkness in her? And will, you know, battling against Alice and any other future enemies turn her dark? So I really like that. Yes, this is the Batwoman episode of the crossover, and while there isn't a whole lot of focus on Batwoman, as opposed to how the Supergirl episode was set in, you know, National City and Earth 38, this is very much more condensed and refined down to just this stuff with Kate and future Bruce Wayne. And it's a really nice kind of exploration of her potential to go dark. And I really, really like that, because we see like all these, you know, he has this cabinet full of, you know, mementos from fights and villains he's defeated. So there's a Joker card. There's something that looks like maybe a reference to Mr. Freeze. There was a lot of little things. I'm sure people out there have had a closer look than myself, because I've only seen it once, as to what references were in there. But then you also see a set of Clark Kent's glasses. So in this universe, Bruce Wayne killed Clark Kent, killed Superman. And he even says, why do you think I need the exoskeleton? Because Superman and Batman fought in this reality in Earth 99, and he can't get around without this exoskeleton now. So it was so insane. Like, he was like, this man comes from another world with all these powers and all of this, and, you know, he felt compelled to stop him by the sounds of it. I mean, we don't know the full context, but yeah, I mean, there's obviously many comic storylines that refer to Batman and Superman fighting. I mean, Dark Knight Returns and yeah, for the most part. But yeah, it's just lots of interesting stuff with that. But sadly, that version of Bruce Wayne is killed at the end of the episode. And yeah, I don't know. It was really, really good though. Really great to see. I really loved what they did with it. And Kate kept a bit of kryptonite that Bruce had. So we'll see what happens there. So, in the other main part of the episode, we saw Iris being recruited into the fight by the Monitor, although off-screen, as Barry has a conversation with Iris in Central City, telling her, you know, we're going to go bring Oliver back to life. And then she's like, well, the Monitor has recruited me to help locate this paragon of truth. And this is where we also find out that, you know, well, everyone finds out at large. We as the audience knew that Lex Luthor has been resurrected by the Monitor because he is crucial to the crisis. And then we find out why through this episode. But because Lex Luthor is Lex Luthor, Lex is gonna Lex, he grabs the Book of Destiny and uses it to travel between all of the different worlds, all of the multiverse, and starts killing off all of the Supermen, Clark Kents everywhere. Although there is only one universe where he finds out that Superman is Clark Kent, and that is in Earth 167, where we are in Smallville, and we finally get another promised cameo, and that is of Tom Welling returning to his role as Clark Kent. And that is another fantastic scene. Lex, tries to kill him or attempts to kill him, but then realizes it's pointless because Clark Kent has renounced his powers. He doesn't want to. He's done. Like he's done fighting. He doesn't need them anymore. He's got a family now. He's with Lois and they're on the farm. Like it's fine. And Lex Luthor in Smallville is now president. So the Michael Rosenbaum Lex is president on Earth 167. And I really loved. It was so good to see John Cryer. Like, it sucks that they brought back Lex Luthor just because in terms of him being a villain, but he's such a good villain, so it's fine. And John Cryer does a fantastic performance. Yeah, like, again, that was probably one thing that had me disappointed at the end of Supergirl season 4 is the fact that he was killed at the end. And I just love John Cryer's performance as Lex Luthor, and it's just so fascinating considering, he was such a whiny little guy in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and here he is, 30 years later, and he's playing Lex Luthor. Like, and he does a phenomenal job, absolutely phenomenal. So he's kind of marveling, like, hilariously at the fact that Clark Kent is Superman, and he hasn't figured out that Clark Kent in his own reality is Superman, because he's like my Clark Kent wouldn't be Superman. He's such a bumbling idiot. He can't see past his own nose or whatever he says. Like, it's classic, brilliant. Love the trope. It's so good. But yeah, it was very, very brief, but very good to see Tom Welling's Superman and Erica Durance's Lois Lane one last time. Smallville fans will either be disappointed or happy given this, but it makes sense that he would return to this farm life and give up his powers, considering, that whole series of Smallville was really about, what is it? No flights, no tights. So I think it seems natural that he would, just go back to being a regular guy by the end of it. But the end of Smallville, obviously, we see him suit up. Well, in the last few seconds as Superman. So, but yeah, that was really, really lovely. And then we travel to Earth 96, and this was probably my favorite part of the episode. Earth 96 is... I'm gonna get emotional. This is the Superman movies universe, or at least it's not stated, it's very heavily implied, because as we know, Superman Returns is a sequel to Superman 4, and therefore all of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And Brandon Routh got to play Superman Clark Kent one more time in this, and I mean for the rest of the crossover hopefully, but in this episode seeing him again was so great. And I just love the fact that we're at the Daily Planet, and the camera's panning past these articles, and there's the I Spent the Night with Superman Daily Planet front page from the original Superman movie, and I got so emotional. I'm just like, this is freaking amazing. I'm gonna cry. I have so much love for that original Superman movie still. It's just perfect. So that was nice. And then when Elizabeth Tulloch's Lois runs into Brandon Routh's Clark Kent, the theme music plays. Oh my god, the little theme, the Lois Lane theme, and Lois and Superman theme from 78 Superman plays, and I was just like, this is just golden. This is absolutely golden. I loved it. I loved it. Oh, it was so good. And it was brilliant to see Brandon Routh slip so easily back into that role. That's one of the great tragedies of Superman Returns not getting a sequel, is the fact that we don't get to see him be Superman anymore, because he was the best thing in that movie for me. People have their opinions about Superman Returns, but I think, if you can get past all the stuff that you may or may not have issues with and just kind of focus on Brandon's performance, he is brilliant. He is so brilliant. So I'm so thankful that this crossover has given us an opportunity to revisit that character, that iteration of that character. even with a different outfit. He's got the Kingdom Come Superman outfit. So the Kingdom Come Superman is the Superman movies Superman. So that's, yeah, really, really cool, but also really sad because he turns out to be the paragon of truth, because the Monitor said that it was someone who had suffered more loss than any mortal man would be able to bear. We find out that Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane are all dead in this universe. The Joker killed them all. He's attacked the Daily Planet head on with some poisonous gas and wiped them all out. So that's really, really sad. But that makes him the paragon of truth. But unfortunately, before that he can be brought back to Earth 1 and fight in the crisis, Lex Luthor intervenes with the Book of Destiny and turns Brandon's Superman against Tyler Hoechlin's Superman, and they have a big fight, and it's awesome. It's great. I love it. I don't care if it's just only with TV budget effects. The effects in these shows are actually pretty great for television, I feel. They're not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. budget because they've got Disney money, but this is awesome. It's so much fun to watch. I love it through and through, and seeing these two Supermen fight each other was just a thrill. And I love Tyler Hoechlin as Superman as much as I love Brandon Routh as Superman. They're both phenomenal, so I'm glad we're both going to get to see them now, hopefully for the rest of the crossover, because obviously Lois and Iris managed to stop Lex, grab the Book of Destiny, and Lois managed to convince Brandon Routh Superman of the truth and who he is at his core, and turned him back from hating everything to loving everything again, and so saved the day. They stopped fighting, but we got a very, very, very awesome line where Brandon Routh Superman says, "Second time I've gone nuts and fought myself," referring to Superman 3, of course. Lovely, lovely little reference that I absolutely enjoyed. Then when Brandon Routh Superman returns to the Wave Rider, we get him and Ray Palmer having a scene together and having a conversation that they obviously everyone's remarking on the fact they look the same, and it's so funny. And then because Ray is so awkward, he says, "Do you have a gluten sensitivity too?" And then Superman says, "I don't know, I think he says I don't know, I haven't discovered it yet, I haven't looked into it," or something like to that effect. But I was just like, oh my god, Ray. You meet yourself, well, not yourself, but a doppelganger, and of course it's the first thing he asks. Brilliant. So that was really, really great. So, and then of course he gets to hold, Lois, Elizabeth Tulloch's Lois gives him Jonathan, her and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman's son, and Brandon Routh Superman holds the little baby Jonathan, and then makes a remark of he looks a lot like my Jason, and Jason of course is his son with Lois Lane in the main timeline from Superman Returns. So that was also wonderful. Oh god, what else can I talk about? I just love all of that stuff. So yeah, Kate Kane ends up becoming the paragon of courage, we learn, because when they come back and Kate says, well, that Batman's dead, he was no paragon, the Monitor's like, well, no, actually the reason you went there is because you were going to become the paragon of courage. By doing so, you are the Bat of the future. So that was really, really nice, and it makes sense, and it's awesome. Very much enjoyed that. So oh yeah, Nice Glasses was another cool scene between Tyler's Superman and Brandon's Superman when they meet at the Daily Planet, and they're both dressed as Clark Kent. God, we don't deserve this crossover. Seriously, it's so good. Oh yeah, one thing I absolutely love before I wrap up, I think, is the music. The way that they've used all of the themes. I mean, lost my shit over it before, but not only did they use a Superman theme in this episode, again, we got to hear Tim Burton's Batman theme in the background, and it's just... And during the fight with the two Supermen, it was, the John Williams score was infused with the current Superman score in the Arrowverse, and that was just a beautiful amalgamation of awesome. So I'm so happy about that. The music is everything in these movies and these TV shows, so it's just, I'm so impressed and just so grateful. Honestly, these guys are doing phenomenal work. Okay, and then I want to mention the fact that Earth 74 Wave Rider, so we got to meet another version of Mick Rory, who is not as successful as the Mick Rory of Earth 1 at writing erotica. Sci-fi erotica, very, very funny stuff. Legends of Tomorrow is a great show. And so that was very funny to see him. And then, of course, Leonard Snart is the AI, not Gideon, on this Wave Rider. So Wentworth Miller makes an uncredited cameo in this episode, and that was cool. That was a really lovely way of bringing Leonard Snart back without fully bringing him back. So who knows, he may still make an appearance physically, but I'm okay with this for now. This is good. And then there was also the little thing right at the start where Sarah Lance said, "I promised my crew we wouldn't do any more crossovers." I love how meta Legends is. Really, so fantastic. So that's why they ended up having to travel to Earth 74 to get a different Wave Rider. But yes, this episode, part 2, concludes with Lila/Harbinger, who has been affected weirdly ever since the Book of Destiny appeared, and then at the end of the episode she's summoned away by the Anti-Monitor, who we meet for the first time, who is played by LaMonica Garrett as well, who plays the Monitor. He's playing the Anti-Monitor, except he's all practical effects made up, looking creepy and badass, and now he has recruited Harbinger to his cause because he has now gained more power, and as the Monitor said throughout the episode, his powers have weakened. So yeah, not so great for our heroes. And there are still 3 more Paragons yet to be discovered, because there were 7 all up and now we only have 4. So Ray has created a Paragon tracker locator thing. Don't know where it is, like we don't know where they are because it didn't work, is what I'm trying to say in my rambling. Yes, so hopefully next episode we'll find out who the other 3 Paragons are, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Oh, God, this is so good. All right, cool. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely adored this episode. If you haven't watched it yet, just do yourself a favor and go watch. It's just so much fun, so awesome. So stay tuned for my review of part 3 coming soon. I've been Kendall Richardson, and you just experienced non-scripted ramblings.